53-year-old Paul Alexander was arrested last year after police uncovered a gun factory at his home in Bardfield, Sailing. The weapons he dealt in have been linked to crimes up and down the country, as Martin Stew reports.
Your husband put guns in the hands of teenagers. What do you have to say about that?
Leaving Chelmsford Crown Court, the wife and stepdaughters of Paul Alexander, the man described by police as a dealer in death. The 53-year-old was told today to expect a lengthy prison sentence after pleading guilty to a string of offences, including possessing firearms with intent to endanger life. He used his military training to convert imitation firearms into lethal weapons, selling silenced assassin kits to the highest bidder for around £1,500. The arms and ammunition he sold have been linked to 28 crimes, including a murder and 4 attempted murders.
We view Mr Alexander as a significant individual who's caused incredible harm to the community. When you consider, he was a supplier of firearms and ammunition which found itself onto the streets of some of our major cities, causing mayhem there. We think he was quite significant.
Detectives were alerted to Alexander's activities as part of an investigation into 11-year-old Rhys Jones's murder in Liverpool. It was last September that police uncovered a gun factory in Alexander's home in Essex. At the time, locals were staggered by the scale of the police operation. Police were seen with semi-automatic weapons, baton guns and tasers, and army bomb disposal experts carried out a controlled explosion which could be heard throughout the village.
Taping off their property and the police cars, and it was horrifying, especially when we heard about the guns.
Firearms expert Mike Yardley says this is a lethal trade.
The problem is you do have a few people who gather the specialist knowledge. In this case, this guy has a military background, considerable criminal form. He's obviously acquired the skills, and he's been acting as a criminal quartermaster, probably to many serious villains. And you only need a few people like that, and there's enough there, enough weapons there to supply the demand.
The court heard that Alexander, who lived in the rural village of Bardfield, Sailing, was a fantasist. On the surface, he was a well-respected and published novelist who'd served in the army for 20 years. But behind closed doors, he was a dangerous criminal. With 33 aliases, he used his vivid imagination to manipulate others. Those others include wife Caroline Hunter-Mann Purdy and stepdaughter Rachel Hunter-Mann, both sentenced today to 2 years supervisional orders for laundering tens of thousands of pounds. And 22-year-old Jasmine Purdy, seen here under the jacket, freed today after serving 8 months for growing cannabis. Alexander will be sentenced in January. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Chelmsford.
A dinner lady from Essex has been sacked after telling a parent their 7-year-old daughter had been bullied and attacked at school.
Carol Hill was dismissed by Great Tay Primary School near Colchester after being told she'd breached the child's confidentiality. She's now planning an appeal. Emma Baker has more.
Carol Hill has worked as a dinner lady at Great Tay Primary for more than 7 years. But today she heard the news that she's been sacked for telling a parent about their 7-year-old daughter being attacked in the playground, which the school says breached the child's confidentiality. The incident happened during a lunch break here. Carol Hill was carrying out her usual duties as a dinner lady when she was approached by a child who told her another pupil was being attacked. She had been tied up and was being hit with a skipping rope by other children. The school did inform the parents that their child had been hurt, but not that she had been tied up. It was only when the mother bumped into Carol outside of school that evening that she learned the full story. The child's parents didn't want to talk on camera today, but told Anglia News they were shocked about what had happened and fully support Mrs Hill. They've since taken their child out of the school. Mrs Hill is now appealing against her dismissal. She was therefore unable to talk to press today, but her husband described what has happened as an injustice.
Well, it's extremely bad, really. She's got no rights as far as they're concerned. It's so bad it's unbelievable, really.
No one from the school was willing to talk to me on camera today, but in a statement they said, "We can confirm that subject to any appeal, Mrs Hill will not be returning to work at Great Tay Primary School. The school's priority remains providing the best possible education to all our pupils and ensuring their development and well-being." The parents of the school have mixed views about the situation.
Things happen in school and they dealt with it how they thought was best, and the school always has the interests of the children at heart.
If it had been dealt with properly in the first place and the parents of the child involved informed straight away, then none of this would be happening now.
Carol is now focusing on her appeal against the dismissal. She says she feels she's been treated unfairly and will continue to fight for what she sees as justice. Emma Baker, Anglia News, Great Tay near Colchester.
Well, it's great to have you with us this month. More news now from your part of the region. And the parents of a disabled 8-year-old boy who died after ambulance crews took 25 minutes to attend after they dialed 999 have been awarded a reported 6-figure sum from the East of England Ambulance Service.
Harry Sherman's parents reached an out-of-court settlement with the service, which admitted the actions of its crew had been unacceptable. Tom Barton has this report.
The dozens of pictures on the wall at Marlon Sherman's home in Colchester tell their own story. They tell the story of a dad who misses his son, Harry. A son he lost a year and a half ago. 8-year-old Harry, who was disabled, had fallen critically ill, but it took an ambulance 25 minutes to reach them. Marlon says the crew then failed to carry out basic life-saving treatment.
He wasn't treated with any dignity or respect, we felt. In fact, the crew at the time were quite rude outside the house. And to have that when your child is that poorly and ill, the words can't explain the feelings I've got.
Harry's parents decided to take legal action against the East of England Ambulance Service and have just reached an out-of-court settlement for a reported 6-figure sum. Marlon says suing the NHS, though, was never about the money.
Someone's got to take responsibility for the actions, and that's the only thing you can do. If you like, it's a way of getting back at them. It's a method and a step towards getting some sort of justice for what happened on that night. And I shall carry on seeking justice if I can.
In a statement, the East of England Ambulance Service said that it had apologised to Harry's family and that the 2 members of crew concerned were no longer in their employment. They added that the crew's behaviour and their treatment of the patient were completely unacceptable and well below the high standards of clinical care on which we pride ourselves. Harry's parents, Marlon and Alison, visit his grave at Colchester Cemetery every day. They know no amount of money will bring Harry back, but hope now to set up a charity in his name to help other parents who find themselves in a similar position. Tom Barton, Anglia News, Colchester.